So, a little bit about me. I haven't always been a big fan of Pride. And back when I started working it, probably for the first time was probably 2011-ish or so, connected to different things, and I pretty much dreaded it. It was a lot of work, and what I saw was a lot of debauchery, over the top everything, and it kind of bothered me. What's been really cool is to see the beauty in all of that. Let me explain a little bit. There's beauty in community coming together. Is there debauchery? Is there extravagance? Is there extreme? Is there addiction and abuse and things going on that aren't as healthy? Of course. Isn't that in any human endeavor? So every time humans get together, there's always going to be some good with some maybe too much good, or some not so good, or some, there's always predators out there. There's always people who mean well, but maybe, it doesn't carry out. But that's part of the beauty of it. Not that I'm saying, yeah, everybody party till you puke or pass out or kill your liver or whatever. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm also no longer kind of looking down on it. Does that make sense? I'm seeing the beauty. And it's been so amazing, specifically this year. I want to talk about that a little bit. Yes, we have humans have always mixed hedonism with any good pursuits. You can see it every week in churches. So, and of course, being in America, we mix that with a good dose of capitalism. So now we're getting the corporate sponsors because they know there's money. Or some of the booths, I saw people that pretty obviously weren't necessarily affirming. They were almost scared to be there, but they were selling stuff, so as long as they're making money, it's okay. But that's just part of the thing. That's some of the growing pains too. That's some of it's a trade out, yeah. But we've got to be inclusive. As a community, we've got to be inclusive. And I'm seeing that on display more and more and more. The title of today's sermon, the kind of working title, is called Pride as Life. Moving booths, flat tires, and community. Those of you who've been at the booth, we set up Friday morning, and right before we were scheduled to open, we got moved to a better location. We were like around the corner on Barnes, and there was nothing else there. It was just kind of this random space, and it was weird. It was night. It was shaded. There was an electrical outlet. There was nobody there, so the introvert in me was like, I'm good. But that kind of defeats the purpose. We wanted to meet people. We wanted to see people. We wanted people to know the good news of God's love as we see it, and not in the way that they might have been taught, or might have grown up, or might have been traumatized with. And you can't do that by yourself. So yes, we had to expend a little extra energy. We had to expend some, it's like, we've already done this. We got to do it again? But that taught me something, just that little bit. Yeah, sometimes you've got to expend some energy. Sometimes it's not your fault, and things just change. And you roll with it. Paul wrote about the good times and the bad times, having plenty and having not enough, and learning to do that. And that's that Philippians passage everyone quotes in weight rooms. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yeah, I can do all things through Christ, but not necessarily on my own either. Because there were people there, people who helped. One guy was helping set up a stage and saw me. I'd gotten there before. I'd given folks who were helping kind of the wrong time, and I messed up on that. And so I needed to be there earlier, so I got there earlier. It's hard to set up one of those big tents by yourself. And I was running around, and I was like, and this random person just like, hey, could you use some help? Well, yeah. And he helped me get it set up, and then And then the guys showed up and helped me finish it, and it was amazing. And then when we had to move it, people from other booths came, and we got 4 of us, and we just picked it up. We didn't have to take it down and move it. We just picked it up and carried it, canopy and all. We had a little moving booth. And it was cool. Yes, energy was expended. Sure. It wasn't wasted. So we've got to learn that expenditure isn't the same as waste. I've got to learn that. And then, in the past, maybe I would have been bummed and that would have ruined my day. Like, we were fine where we were, or why did you guys put us here in the first? It would have been personal. Like, oh, I get it. And you were there, Jimmy. There was that little blink that was like, oh, they stuck us out of the way. We're a church. I get it. We're nonprofit. They didn't make as much money off us. Okay. Oh, the things I go through for Christ. I'm just as guilty of that as anyone else. But sometimes you're not wrong, and you still have to expend energy to change your course. That night, and I'm not even going to talk about the protesters. That's probably for another sermon. But that night, we got down. I had this really great parking spot that the Pride board let me park at. Thanks, Tessa, for that night. And, we're exhausted. I'm heading out. Eric had stayed to help shut down and all that. And I moved the little barrier to try to move, and this sheriff's deputy who was on duty was kind of like, hey, what are you doing? Of course, that's their job. And I told him where I parked, and he said, oh, okay. And so he started to move the barrier for me, and I got out, and I just didn't quite pay attention. And I thought at first I kind of clipped the barrier or something, but I didn't. But if you're familiar with those orange and white stripy things, at the bottom, they have those stands that go out further, and they're made with L brackets. Yeah, my tire didn't get along well with that L bracket, and it won. So I ended up at the car wash at 40th and Penn, blown out tire. I was so tired. Fortunately, I have roadside assistance. Then I tried to get out this jack, thought I could be all self-sufficient, like I can do this. I am a woman in 2023. I don't need help. I went ahead and called roadside assistance because why subscribe if you're not going to try to use it? But when they said 70 to 100 minutes, I'm like, seriously? I'm in Oklahoma City. It's not like I'm in Little or something. It's not like it's 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. I mean, it's a Friday night. You got to have people and stuff. What's going on? But so I got out the jack and I was trying it. I knew the first thing you'd do is loosen the lug nuts. Couldn't get leverage on. But I had texted Eric, who had just left, around the same time because he'd helped me shut everything down. Now Eric lives in Shawnee. Dude was almost out of the city. On MLK 44, I mean, in my view, he's halfway home. And he says, I'll come back. I was like, no. I'm self-sufficient. I help you. You don't help me. Because some days when I'm down, I have to have something to resent. So I've got to resent, being the helper and not getting any, right? I got to be careful saying that phrase in this community. But, Eric is awesome, and he's like, I'm coming back. I'm not going to leave you there alone. And at first I was like, I'm not helpless. But God spoke to me and said, don't be an idiot. Someone's helping you. Relax. So Eric came, he couldn't get him listed anyway, and he knows more about the Fords and those little caps and not rounding them and all that. Probably saved me money in the long run. But during that course, we hung out together and had, cool conversation and all that. You see, sometimes things happen. Sometimes they are our fault. I didn't intend, of course, to drive over that. It wasn't my fault in that regard. I wasn't, drunk or anything like that. I just didn't. I was actually looking up, making sure I didn't hit the guy, and wasn't thinking about the fact that the base is wider at the bottom. And anyway, sometimes things happen, they're not always fun. But there's always something that comes out of it. Everything works together for good. I know this is a very small thing, and there are big things that happen, and I'm not saying if you've been through a catastrophe in life, that's God's plan out. No. But God will take that and use something. When I'm so tired and I just want to be home, and my dogs haven't been fed when they're supposed to be fed, and I'm just like, there's that part of me going, can I live at home? Can I just, I'll buy a new room later. Just get me home. Unfortunately, I've made a better decision than that. So, sometimes we have to re-expend energy even if we're not wrong. But sometimes we mess up. Or sometimes things just happen. And in both of those cases and others, the obstacles become less daunting when you have community support. Why does that matter? Matthew 18:20 says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them." And that has been used in the context of church gatherings, prayer meetings, Bible studies, all of that. And that works. That's cool. But it goes beyond that. And in Pride, I look out and I go, what does that mean, gathered in my name? What is my name? It's more than just what I say at the end of a prayer. In Jesus' name. That's fine. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But we don't have to limit ourselves to that shallow of a concept. You see, in my name is on display all weekend in its bold, colorful, glittery splendor on 39th Street and beyond this weekend. It's a physical representation of that metaphor of life. I've seen it. I've participated in it. And there's a difference between seeing it, which is cool, and being in it. Being in my name benefits us all. Yes, there were protesters. Yes, I was able to help people in my name through that. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I didn't go that too deep into it, but I also benefited from it. When guys from other booths or a guy building a stage says, "Hey, I can help you with that," with no, there wasn't any of the, what do I get out of it? Yeah, there was none of that. We were all helping each other. In my name. The name of love. The name of collaboration. The name of cooperation. Another church will be joining us at the parade because they didn't get a parade entry. They're another new small affirming church. Come on. In my name. That's, you can say all that. Even members of the LGBT community, even I've been LGBTQ plus community, even I've been guilty of things like that. I'm glad it exists. I get it. Stonewall, the rights, yes, celebrate that. It's not my thing. But you know what? It's becoming my thing. And that's God working in my heart. Not that it has to be everyone's, but those are my people. Not possessive my, but community my. These are my people. This is in my name, in Christ's name, in the name of God, in the name of Yahweh, in the name of I am, in the name of Jehovah, in the name of the Holy Spirit, in the name of love. Wherever 2 or 3 or a few thousand or tens of thousands expected at Pride or at the parade, they've been gathering in the name all weekend. It's been right under our noses. Or we've been in it, or we're in it. And we can celebrate that. In my name, as demonstrated by the love of young couples and longtime spouses, from the cute hand holding, the protective nature of different things coming out, the love of new allies, the tentativeness of parents trying to be supportive, but scared because there are very real threats out there. Not knowing why they're coming. The love of those who want to come, but because of those very real physical threats, they're either not letting their kids come or they're not coming, not because they're not supportive, but because unfortunately we are in an environment in the world where there is reason to have some fear. But there's also in the name of those people who are willing to stand up and do everything they can to ensure the security of all who partake. Whether paid staff or volunteers, that's in my name. The love of huggers, the love of affirming churches, the love of those volunteers and those bright-colored shirts and the pink shirts of the board members, in my name. These folks, some of them are atheists. Some of them have never proclaimed Christ, or some of them have been rejected from our churches. They're done with it. Like, to hell with church. The irony of that phrase right there. They're operating in my name. And I'm not saying that to be like, see, there you go. I saw there's God right there. I'm not saying that to win an argument. I'm saying God is everywhere. You don't have to call God God to be everywhere. God could be cooperation. God could be love. God could be helping put up and tear down a tent. God could be stopping on the side of the road to help a friend. And God is also often just there. God can be just, I'm here with you. I can't fix it, but I'm here with you. I'll wait with you for help to arrive. Or I'll hang out with you for a little while so you know that in my name is here. Emmanuel, he's God with us. We are Emmanuel, and we are this weekend, and we need to carry that. So many forms of Matthew 18:20. The love of employers paying staff to be there, even for those big corporations that are only there for capitalism. Fine, let it be. Let it happen. The love of furries and spiritualists. The love of vegans and carnivores. Talk about the lion and the lamb being together, you know. The love of pups and handlers and bootblacks and the kink and fetish community and the prime timers and the dykes on bikes and lawyers and right next to construction workers. I mean, the love of the geeks and the freaks and the gay sheiks and that CHIC chic. It sounds. I did a rhymey thing there. It sounded better in my head. The love of the glitter people. You know, they say love the sinner, hate the sin. I do love the people. I hate glitter. But okay, we'll go beyond that. From the goo-goo-eyed people feeling that freedom to be actually in public, maybe for the first time, from people who might not know where they are as an orientation or as an identity or any of that, but we can encourage them not to be like, oh, come to our side, but experience it. Maybe this isn't, maybe you're not gay, maybe you're not bi, maybe you are, but it's okay. Either way. We have that love. We have the protective love. We have the neighborly, helpful love. The project-based love. Hey, let's work together on something. Hey, I didn't know you before. Hey, there's another of you like me. Cool, let's do something together. It's all swirled into this beautiful, gritty, sweaty, loud, sometimes offbeat when you have music here and music here clashing at your tent. But it creates this tapestry of life. And it doesn't have to stop on 39th. It doesn't have to always be rainbows and glitter. It can be. But it's encouraging me to try to seek out that beauty everywhere. To try to see, because it is there. There is a kernel of it everywhere. It's up to us to seek that out and contribute to it. That whole atomic vision. the movements. Within atoms are particles. Particles are always moving. And there was movement. My feet can attest to that, but there was movement. Wherever two or more are gathered, in God's name, in love's name, God is there. Love is there. And at Pride, as much as protesters may want to claim otherwise, God is there. Because we are there. Wherever two or more are gathered, wherever our hearts are, God is. Happy Pride. Let us pray. Creator God,